Everyone wants to be a millionaire, but no one talks about the first real milestone, not $1 million, not even $500,000. The hardest number to reach is $100,000, and not just financially, but mentally. Because the first 100K will test everything: your discipline, your patience, your belief in the process. It's the part where effort feels invisible and progress feels like a cruel joke, where the numbers move so slowly you wonder if you're broken or if the system is. But here's the truth. The first $100,000 isn't just hard, it's deliberately hard. And the moment you understand why, you'll stop feeling stuck and start feeling unstoppable. Let's be honest, the journey to wealth doesn't start with compounding interest. It starts with exhaustion. In the beginning, you are the one doing all the work. Every dollar saved comes from your effort, your paycheck, your sacrifice, and nothing else is helping. There are no dividends yet, no rental income, no portfolio quietly growing in the background, just you trying to make 1,000 last long enough to become 2,000. And here's the worst part. You're doing everything right. You're budgeting. You're saving. You're skipping the Uber, bringing lunch from home, working weekends. And at the end of the month, you've managed to save $300. Then something unexpected hits: a flat tire, a medical bill, a birthday dinner you forgot. And just like that, progress gone. Back to zero. It's not that you're failing. It's that the math hasn't started working yet. Because when your portfolio is small, a 10% return is laughable. 10% of $5,000? That's $500 a year, or $41 a month. That's not freedom. That's a tank of gas. You feel like you're building something, but the foundation keeps disappearing under your feet. And emotionally, this does damage. You start thinking, if I'm trying this hard and getting nowhere, what's the point? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this. I'll never catch up. Everyone else is ahead. But what you're experiencing isn't failure. It's initiation. Because the first $100,000 isn't just a number. It's a rite of passage. It's where the wealthy are separated from the wishful, where those who want it are filtered from those who are willing to fight for it. And most people never make it past this point. Not because they're not capable, but because no one warned them it's supposed to feel like this. Let's break down what really makes the first $100,000 feel so impossible. It's not just discipline, it's not just sacrifice. It's brutal math. In the early days, you're not building wealth, you're just trying to gather enough fuel to start the fire. Let's say you manage to save $500 per month. That's $6,000 a year. It would take you over 16 years to reach $100,000. Without interest, without windfalls, without mistakes. 16 years of eating cheap, of skipping vacations, of watching your friends buy homes while you're still stacking small bills. Even with a solid 7% annual return from investments, you'd still need more than 12 years to reach $100,000 from scratch. And that's if you do everything right. But real life isn't that clean. Life throws curveballs. Cars break. Jobs get lost. Emergencies happen, and just staying afloat can feel like a full-time job. Meanwhile, you look around and see others winning, buying new cars, getting promoted, posting vacations, and you start to wonder, am I doing something wrong? Why does this feel so much harder for me? Because it is harder. Not because you're failing, but because you're starting from zero. You don't have inherited assets. You don't have a high-income safety net. You're not compounding wealth. You're compounding effort. And that's the trap. We compare our first mile to someone else's 10th. But wealth doesn't grow linearly. It grows exponentially, but only after a painful, silent, invisible stretch. The early phase is like pushing a car in neutral. It takes everything you have just to move an inch. But if you keep pushing long enough, the momentum builds, and the car starts rolling on its own. The trick is surviving the flat part of the curve, because that's where 90% of people quit. Right before the curve bends, right before the magic starts. Something strange happens around $30,000, and then again at $50,000, and then finally at $100,000. It's quiet, subtle. You won't see headlines about it, but if you're paying attention, you'll feel it. You check your investment account, and for the first time, it moved. on its own. You didn't work extra hours. You didn't cut back more. You didn't do anything different. But somehow, you made $400, then $700, then $1,000 just from returns. That's not luck. That's leverage finally kicking in. Because when your account hits a critical mass, your money stops being passive and starts pulling its own weight. You're no longer pushing a dead snowball up a hill. Now, the snowball is growing as it rolls. At $5,000 invested, a 10% return is barely $500. A rounding error. At $50,000, that's $5,000. A month of income. At $100,000, that's $10,000. And you didn't lift a finger. And here's where most people finally feel it. The financial system starts helping you instead of resisting you. You're not just the worker anymore. Now you're the owner of capital, of cash flow, of time. This is the inflection point. The math bends in your favor. The habits you built in the hard part now work automatically. The system you created starts reinforcing itself. The pressure doesn't disappear, but it does get lighter. Because now your dollars are working with you, not against you. Crossing the $100,000 mark doesn't feel like winning the lottery. No fireworks, no parade, no confetti, but something fundamental shifts. And if you've made it that far, you'll feel it. Before $100,000, you were the system. You were the contributor, the manager, the driver. Your time and energy were the only forces moving things forward. After $100,000, you become the architect. Instead of pushing every brick into place, you're now designing the blueprint for something bigger. You start asking different questions. How do I make my money work harder than I do? How do I eliminate friction from my financial life? What if I never had to rely on willpower again? Because now the returns are meaningful. A 10% year adds another $10,000. If you're adding $15,000 annually from savings, you're now growing at $25,000 per year and climbing. And here's the best part, that growth compounds. Every return fuels the next. Every reinvested dollar builds more momentum. Every smart system you put in place, automation, allocation, habit, adds power to the machine. It's no longer about how hard you push, it's about how smart the system is. Wealth building after $100,000 isn't a grind. It's a structure. You automate your savings. You optimize your investments. You ignore the noise. You stop chasing tactics and start trusting principles. And emotionally, the shift is massive. You no longer panic at setbacks. You have margin. You have tools. You have time. Suddenly, a flat month doesn't shake you. A market dip doesn't derail your plan. You're not reacting anymore. You're responding. That's the quiet power of reaching $100,000. You stop feeling desperate and start feeling in control. If hitting $100,000 changes everything, why do so few people get there? Because most people don't fail financially. They stall emotionally. They start strong. They budget. They cut expenses. They save a little. But then, life happens. They get discouraged when they can't save more. They feel behind when their friends spend freely. They sabotage progress with thoughts like, $200 a month won't make a difference. I'll save when I make more. I deserve a break. I've been working hard. And slowly, they slip back into survival mode. Not because they're weak, but because no one told them the truth. The first $100,000 is the hardest on purpose. It's designed to filter out the casual, to break the inconsistent, to test how badly you want freedom. It's a test, not of intelligence, but of resilience. Here are the 3 traps that kill momentum before it compounds. 1. Lifestyle inflation. The moment income rises, spending rises faster. New phone, better car, fancier dinners. It's disguised as reward, but it's really financial sabotage. Every dollar spent here is a dollar that won't grow for you. 2. Inconsistent habits. Saving 1 month, skipping the next, investing once, then forgetting for 6 months. Momentum dies not from lack of effort, but from lack of systems. The fix? Automate. Make your wealth plan harder to break than to follow. 3. Emotional spending stress? Spend. Lonely. Swipe. Bored. Browse. Most people don't need more money. They need fewer moments of emotional leakage. Track your triggers. Build barriers between you and your impulses. The truth is harsh. Many people could reach $100,000 in 5 years or less if they simply stopped interrupting themselves. But because they give up in the quiet part, they never get to feel what it's like when the system starts working for them. They're always pushing uphill because they never pushed long enough to reach the top. So why is the first $100,000 so difficult? Because it forces you to do what no amount of money can ever replace. Build discipline, build structure, build identity. Before you have assets, you have habits. Before you have income streams, you have internal wiring. And before your money compounds, your decisions compound first. You learn to delay gratification and actually feel proud of it. You learn to question every dollar, not from fear, but from strategy. You learn to say no, not because you're broke, but because you're building something bigger than comfort. And slowly, without even noticing, you become the kind of person who reaches $100,000, not by luck, not by inheritance, not by shortcuts, by becoming unshakable in a world built on distraction and debt. That's why it's so hard, because it's supposed to transform you. It's not just a number, it's a filter, a forging process, a quiet revolution that happens inside you, one decision at a time. And when you finally get there, you don't just have $100,000. You have a mindset that will take you far beyond it. You'll know how to resist lifestyle creep. You'll know how to survive market dips. You'll know how to build wealth on autopilot. And most importantly, you'll never fear starting over again because you'll know what it takes and you'll know you have it. The journey to your first $100,000 will be the slowest, most frustrating, most emotionally taxing part of building wealth. But once you're there, the whole game changes. The math gets easier, the pressure gets lighter, and most importantly, you get stronger. Because what you built along the way wasn't just money. It was a foundation, a system, an identity. Most people never make it, not because they can't, but because they stop just short of the curve bending in their favor. They quit in the quiet part, the part where nothing seems to work, the part where progress feels invisible. But if you keep going, if you hold the line long enough, one day you'll look back and realize the hard part is behind you. And from that moment on, the question won't be, can I build wealth? It will be, how far can I take this? If this video helped shift how you see the early stage of wealth building, like and subscribe for more stories that reveal how money really works. And tell us in the comments, what's been the hardest part of your journey to your first $100,000? Let's make this a space for real lessons, not just motivation. And remember, every dollar you save today is a silent worker that never clocks out. And if you enjoyed this video, choose one of the recommended videos on screen right now to go even deeper into how money really works.